Right. I'm delighted to introduce today's 8th grade chapel speaker. If we created a checklist of what a Montgomery student would look like, and this is how I think Maggie would measure up to that checklist. Motivated, check. Hardworking, check. Creative, check. Kind, check. Thoughtful, check. Supportive of others, check. Respectful to teachers and to everyone, check. And that's the kind of student she is. And for the last 3 years, she came to Montgomery in 5th grade, and this is her 4th year here. And it's just a delight to have her here and have her in class and to be able to get to know her. So please join me in extending a very warm welcome to Maggie Clausen.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez, for that nice introduction. Good morning, parents, students, and faculty. My name is Maggie Clausen, and today I'll be talking to you about stress and how to manage it. When choosing my chapel topic, I wanted to talk about something I have plenty of experience in dealing with. At home, my parents call me stress ball and worrywart because I'm very high-strung and I worry more than I would like to admit. Ironically, I stressed about my chapel on stress. I mostly stress about my academics. I'm the opposite of a procrastinator. I like to get my work done as soon as possible. I'm not saying I don't ever procrastinate. I don't think it's possible for anyone not to do this every once in a while. I like to get my work done as soon as possible so that I don't have to worry about it. However, this is not always possible. For example, if I have a Spanish worksheet, a math assignment, and a science test to study for, and a social studies packet to highlight, I cannot complete all these tasks in one sitting. What stresses me out is that I can't get this done as quick as I like. Furthermore, I have never really liked public speaking. I find that I get anxious when I have to be the center of attention, like on stage. Throughout my time at Montgomery, I have become significantly more confident in my public speaking skills. In 7th grade language arts, we had to do speeches pretty often. And in science, we have projects that we have to present in front of the class that have also helped me improve my public speaking. Although I'm improving, public speaking is still a big source of stress for me. Now, what exactly is stress? The medical definition of stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension. It can come from any event or thought that makes you feel frustrated, angry, or nervous. Stress is your body's reaction to a challenge or demand. There are 3 different types of stress: acute stress, episodic acute stress, and chronic stress. Acute stress is the most common form of stress. It comes from demands and pressures of the recent past and anticipated demands and pressures of the near future. Acute stress is thrilling and exciting in small doses, but too much is exhausting. Episodic acute stress occurs when someone takes on too many tasks, becomes overwhelmed by all the demands, with an inability to meet those demands. They seem to have many different disastrous situations, live in chaos and disorganization. Chronic stress is the response to emotional pressure suffered for a prolonged period in time in which an individual perceives they have little or no control. The symptoms of stress can vary for every person because everyone is different. The most common symptoms are low energy, headache, upset stomach, aches, pains, and tense muscles, chest pain and rapid heartbeat, insomnia, and frequent colds and infections. Research has shown that the causes of anxiety and stress are not always harmful as the habits some people have of holding on to it for a long time. This short video expands on this theory.
A professor once asked an entire class what would happen if they held an entire glass of water in one hand for a minute. The class in unison said that nothing would happen. He then asked them what would happen if they held it for 5 minutes. Again they said that nothing would happen. He then said, now imagine if you held it out in your hand for an hour. They said that their hand would start hurting. He said, interesting. Now imagine if you held it out for 8 hours straight in a row. The student said, sir, we would probably not be able to use our hand for days due to pain. The professor smiles at the students and says, now class, this is what stress is like. It's not the amount of stress and worry that gives us pain, but it's the amount of time that we hold on to it that actually kills us. So remember, that whenever you are stressed out or worried, it's okay to hold on to it for a few minutes. However, we must put it down. If we hold on to it for too long, it will cause us more pain and sometimes even permanent damage.
While you can't always control the external factors that cause stress, you can manage your response to it. I would like to share with you 3 ways to handle your stress. Number 1, take breaks. The thinking part of the brain is the prefrontal cortex. It keeps you focused when you're doing work that requires concentration. The prefrontal cortex is also responsible for logical thinking, executive functioning, and using willpower to override impulses. This part of your brain is in charge of so many things, it's no wonder it needs a break. Working for a long period of time without a break can make you stressed. When you take a break, you give your brain a chance to rest and replenish mental resources. Physical activity is my favorite type of break. Getting up from your chair to walk, stretch, do yoga, or whatever activity you prefer can reduce the negative health effects from too much sitting. When I have a lot of work to do, I like to go for a run. This physical activity helps me clear my head, and I always feel ready to work when I'm done. Some people don't like to run, and that's okay. Even walking can help your concentration. Whether it's outside, on a treadmill, or around your house, engaging in physical activity will improve your concentration and your well-being. Number 2, don't be afraid to ask for help. No one should have to deal with their stress alone. What I've learned from my time in middle school is that you cannot be afraid to go to your teachers for help. I used to never want to meet with my teachers. I wanted to be independent and do everything myself. I almost felt ashamed to ask for help. In 6th grade, I definitely would not have met with my teachers as much as I do now. I'm glad I outgrew this belief. I'm sure you've heard it before, but there's no shame at all in asking for help. Use your study halls to meet with your teachers or come in early before school. Over the years, my relationships with my teachers have strengthened, and I feel so much more comfortable asking for help. This lesson does not just apply to school. If you are ever nervous, stressed, or worried about anything, don't be afraid to ask for help. Whether it's a teacher, trusted adult, or even a friend, having someone to help and support you will always make you feel better. Number 3, make a plan. If you are ever overwhelmed with work, making a plan helps break up big assignments into manageable portions. When you have a lot of homework to do or a large project, make a list of what you are going to do at that time. As you do it, check it off from the list. I use a planner to keep track of my homework, and there's something so pleasing about scribbling an assignment off the list. You get to say to yourself, I just accomplished that, and now it is done. It is like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. Sometimes there are things that you can't cross off the list when you really want to. This probably means you need to break the assignment into smaller parts. It will then seem less intimidating, and it will be easier to complete. To summarize, if you have a lot of work to do, make a list and write it all down. Complete what you can. Whatever is left, break it down into smaller parts, then complete those individually. Finally, the most important thing about managing stress is achieving balance. You have to balance your breaks without taking away too much time from what you need to do. You must balance asking for help and being dependent on the help that you get. Sometimes these tricks won't work. Everyone is different, so what works for me might not work for you. You need to experiment and figure out what works best for you. However, I hope these strategies give you a good start. And if all else fails, a good stress ball always helps. So I brought a stress ball for everyone here, and I would like you to please grab one on your way out. I would like to end my chapel with a quote by William James, an American philosopher and psychologist. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. Thank you and have a great day.